Showtime.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, Florida Man Sports is back. Thank you. Welcome to week 4, folks. As always, please like and subscribe. Follow us on all platforms. And listen, folks, last week, the entire NFL world was upside down. When it comes to picks and predictions, Florida Man Sports, we're 500 and up, baby.
Yes, sir.
So you can always count on us to give you the picks and predictions, only way Florida Man can. Johnny Cinco, let's jump right into it. We'll start with the Florida teams here.
Okay.
You've got the Jaguars, who are 0-3. We know what it means to be 0-3. They are going away. They're taking the Texans at home. Who do you got in this one?
Well, if you guys have been paying attention, the Jacksonville Jaguars are atrocious. They are arguably the worst team in the NFL, something they're familiar with, but they fooled fans into thinking they're better. They have a good team. They're just coached horribly. It's just a countdown to when Doug Peterson gets fired. The Belichick watch. They're going to go ahead and we know what's going to happen here. Jacksonville's playing in Houston. Houston's winning this game.
Yeah, short and sweet, Johnny. I agree with you here in the sense that, look, Houston, they won against Indy. They won against Chicago. They lost to Minnesota, but a lot of people have lost to Minnesota. They're undefeated so far. And then to your point, Johnny, we give you week 1, Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's inevitable things happen week 1. Then week 2, you lose a close one. Now you get you just get destroyed by the Bills. So yeah, I think the the Jaguars lose, and Peterson is fired after this one. If nothing else, he's in the hot seat.
I don't think he's fired after week 4, even though they got blown out last week.
It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. How do you keep going with your top-paid quarterback all this money? How do you keep going with him as coach?
Well, I think if you're gonna make that move, you're gonna do it in the bye week. Or if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you're going to do what I think you're going to do is go after Belichick, you might as well just go and ride it out with him. You're paying this guy anyway when you fire him. So it's going to happen in the bye week or after the season, nowhere else. That's my opinion.
Well, listen, folks, if you like Florida sports here like we do, you're also going to notice that, quite frankly, this week was terrible to all Florida teams. Miami Dolphins, of course, included in that. They lost last week. Now they play the Titans this week coming up. Johnny, how do you see this one?
Yeah, Miami got destroyed. They're going against Tennessee in Tennessee. Tennessee is still waiting to win the game. Tennessee is a team that we were both very high on coming in this year. And somehow, maybe blame Mayo Levis, do whatever you want. But in this particular game, Skylar Thompson, who is a joke of a backup, is probably not going to even play. He got a chest injury in that game. So we're looking at a third-stringer, practice squad player coming in to play for the Miami Dolphins. Tennessee Titans are winning this game in Tennessee.
Yep, another one where we both agree on. At the end of the day, folks, Will Levis is having a sophomore slump. There, I said it. I ripped the Band-Aid there. But he's going to win this game. He's got everything, all the cards in his favor. The Dolphins are at home in this game, but it's not going to matter. There is no more home field advantage, Johnny, because of what's happened with Tua and all that. So
yes.
At the end of the day, Titans get their win, and Will Levis gets a couple touchdowns for you. The last Florida team, Johnny, the Bucs. They started 2-0. Now they're 2-1. They're at home. They're taking on the Eagles, who are just got hot. How do you see this one?
Well, if you watch Tampa's last game, that somehow they lost at home to Denver. They made Bo Nix look like a Pro Bowler. Ultimately, they lost that game because missed tackles and just horrible play. Mainly, I blame on coaching because if you don't prepare your team, that's what happens. And now they're going to go ahead and have a rematch of the wild card round or the divisional round in the playoffs last year. So one team is looking hot, the other team not so much. It's only 1 week for Tampa, but still, I like the trajectory that the Philadelphia Eagles are on. You were very high on them. I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game.
Yeah, the Eagles, Johnny, they're 2-1, but everybody that watches these games know they could very well be 3-0, right, to start the season. They're 2-1 right now. If Barkley hadn't missed that open catch for a touchdown, and then for the Bucs, I did say this last week, folks. I said that they're going to hit a 7-game stretch after Denver where they're just playing elite teams, and here it is.
Yeah.
So you had an opportunity to be 3-0. You're 2-1. With that being said, I'm not being a fan, Johnny. Just hang on with me here. We're going to disagree on this one. I'm taking the Bucs in this one, and here's why.
Okay.
We can't afford to lose this game. If we're going to win 3 out of these 7 games, and when you look at the schedule, this is one of them. I'm putting it for the Bucs at home to put it all together, to wipe themselves off from that Denver loss. Give me the Bucs to win a close one. They beat them in the playoffs. They can do it again.
So you're picking the Bucs purely because they lost the game they shouldn't have lost. So now they need to make up for it.
Same thing that happened with the Detroit Lions this last
Sorry,
week.
man.
I know we're not doing a recap, but the Lions, they lose to the Bucks, they dust themselves off, and they win the next game.
Yeah, the Bucks are a good team.
I see.
The Bucks are a good team. And the Lions went ahead and played them, and then they lost to that team. Most people weren't expecting, and we weren't. But the Bucks are solid. The Bucks lost to a terrible team.
That's fair. I'll give you one more fact too. At the end of the day, we know that the Eagles are depleted at the wide receiver position. Smith may not even play, and then you take into account the fact that the Bucks are not getting one but two starters back on defense, and Vea, he's supposed to start, and that's why I'm saying that I'm going to take the Bucks, not just because I'm a fan, but because we need this win and all those other things considered.
Bucks are towards the bottom of the league in run defense. They're going against probably the best back right now in football.
It's going to be a tough game.
So Barkley against that defense,
it's going to be a tough game. At the end of the day, folks, if you're a fan of football, you know that any given Sunday, anything can happen. And if the Bucks are going to be real contenders this year, they have to play real football this Sunday. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Cowboys and Giants, Johnny, where the Giants surprised a lot of people. They won. They're 1-2. They're not they're not in the losing streak anymore at this point. But they are at home against the Cowboys that are also 1-2. Who's taking this one?
A tough divisional game. Okay, the Giants were not going to go winless, even though I told you I'm not picking them until they start winning. Good. Dallas, actually, Dak showed up. They could have won the game last week, but I'm still going to go ahead and pick the Cowboys over the Giants. Too many weapons with the Cowboys. Dak is starting to heat up. That was an anomaly. They're going to win maybe 4 or 5 games this year, the Giants. So Dallas is going to go ahead and win this game.
Yeah, both teams are 1-2. So the winner of this game, for me, in my book, has the opportunity to turn their season around. And with that being said, Johnny, it's not going to be the Giants. It's the Cowboys. They've got more riding on this game. I don't care the fact that they're on the road. Give me the Cowboys to win this one as well. Talking about divisional games, Johnny Cinco, the Saints and the Falcons, where the Falcons are at home. Before you give me your predictions, I want to give you just a little bit of credit here.
Okay.
Week 1 with the Falcons, 18-10. They lose their first week. Their third week, they lose to Kansas City just last week recently, but it was a very close game. That being said, the Falcons are 1-2 against the 2-1 Saints. Who do you got in this one?
Well, we're not doing a recap, but we all saw the game with the Falcons and Chiefs, and the Falcons were robbed again of a clear pass interference in the end zone. But of course, since they're not the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't get the call.
Correct.
So it is what it is. This is actually a premier game, an NFC South game, divisional game that I think America is going to watch because two really good teams. New Orleans is looking great. Atlanta's looking great. Both teams are looking good. For me, I'm high on the Falcons this year. So we're going to see who actually is the class of the NFC South. I know you're on Tampa. I'm saying for me.
No, this is going to be a great game to watch.
The winner of this game is for me the class of the NFC South, and that's going to be the Atlanta Falcons.
Even if the Bucks surprise you and they beat the Eagles, you wouldn't say that?
Yes.
Because remember, Eagles just beat the Saints 15-12. The Saints, after going 40 and 40 point games, they get clipped here by the Eagles. So you're saying if the Bucks beat the Eagles, they won't beat the top?
You know that the Bucks just lost to the Broncos right at home, right?
One game.
And at home against Bo Nix and the Broncos.
Listen, folks. At the end of the day, the Falcons are 0-2 here. They're looking for their first win at home. I don't see them getting it here. So who are you taking on this
Falcons.
one? Falcons. I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to say that 40-point games back-to-back and having one bad game is the common denominator there. So, Saints prove me right in this one. Get the win because the Saints could be 3-1 if they're trying to keep up with the Bucks in the race.
Yep.
Rams and Bears, Johnny Cinco, where the Bears are at home. The Bears are 1-2. The Rams are 1-2. Who's taking this one?
Is it too early, Chris, to just call Caleb Williams a bust? It's just too early.
It's too early. If you go by Panthers' status, they at least waited a whole season before they.
I mean, I get it, but. We saw we don't have a very small sample size. We'll get to what Jaden Daniels did with Washington Commanders.
Yep.
But you get little clips, you get little something. So you say, okay, I see it now. Caleb Williams, we've seen nothing. We've seen absolutely nothing from this kid. So I have no faith in him. Obviously, it's early. I'm using a bit of hyperbole, but still, the Rams are beating the Chicago Bears because Caleb Williams is not ready.
Yeah, the Rams must have heard me last episode when I told them that they need to go to the sideline there, and they're done after their Super Bowl win. They've been regressing every year. But I'm going to take the Rams. They just won't go away. Very simple. And to your point, Johnny, I was very critical of Caleb Williams before the start of the season, but I'm not, unlike the Panthers, I'm not going to sit here and just rule out a quarterback after a handful of games or even this whole season. For me, Caleb Williams is going to get this season and next season because that's why you picked him with the number 1 pick.
Of course he's going to.
What the Panthers did was wrong with this guy. So
I don't necessarily agree with you. At the end of the day, I really like Bryce Young in college, but That guy had the lowest quarterback rating with 20-plus starts in, I think, the history of the NFL. He right now, if he never comes back, not arguably, the absolute worst number 1 overall pick of all time, worse than Jamarcus Russell, because of what Carolina gave up to get him, and his numbers don't justify it. Now, I blame the coaching staff.
Thank you. I was going to say, where they put him in, where he was put, the coaching staff, the playbook that was given, all that stuff.
I get it. I understand all that. Listen, Sam Darnold has a resurgence. He went at Baker Mayfield had a resurgence. So there's opportunities. I'm just saying what Bryce Young with the Carolina Panthers, he's done. He's done. The Carolina Panthers, and we'll get to that later on.
They had 3 trades for him, though, and they told him no. 3 different teams offered trades.
Of course. They're offering him like 5th-round picks. They're like, hey, we'll go give it a shot at him. They drafted their future to go ahead and move up a couple spots to get him. They're not going. Nobody's offering him a 1st-round pick or anything else. They're offering him trash. I still say in the offseason, Bryce Young's going to be traded.
Well, we're both hanging our hats on the Rams this week, and Caleb Williams continue to get better, buddy. You got the Vikings, Johnny. The Vikings that are 3-0. They're on the away team this time. They're playing the Packers at home. Who do you have in this one?
The Vikings are one of 4 teams are undefeated. Nobody saw the Minnesota Vikings because nobody really thought that Sam Darnold can really have this resurgence and this Minnesota defense.
I do.
No, and the Minnesota defense is arguably the best defense in football right now. So you have a quarterback who's confident, who went and beat San Francisco, handled San Francisco, the defense who can stand up against anybody going against the Packers, who possibly will have Jordan Love back. We're not sure yet, but he's been moved from, he's questionable now. He was out, it's questionable, so it's a possibility. He has several days to go ahead and get recovered. Minnesota Vikings, arguably the best team in football, are winning this game.
Yeah, I've got the Vikings as well, winning on the road. At the end of the day, I know that I didn't call them to be undefeated and this good, but I did at the beginning of the season, Johnny. I did say that you gave me the option. If I remember one episode, you were like, what would you rather have them do? And I said, let Darnold play. Let the coach. I love the coach. I'm very high on the Vikings coach. And look, now they're 3-0.
Well, they weren't going to. They were forced to start Sam Darnold. I mean, ultimately with the injury.
I remember you asked, should they sign somebody else? I'm like, no, let Darnold play. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm also taking the Vikings to win on the road. Packers are going to be a 500 team when it's all said and done, with or without Love. The Steelers, Johnny. The Steelers are 3-0. Nobody expected that one. Steelers versus Colts. Colts are at home. Who do you got?
I mean, they played the Falcons, week 1. They're still trying to figure themselves out. Falcons are heating up even with that loss. Yeah, I think if they played Falcons in week 3, they would have taken the L. But they're winning on their defense, their offense. Even though Justin Fields had his best game last week, these aren't elite numbers. They're riding that defense. I think Indianapolis is going to start heating up with Richardson, with Jonathan Taylor, with Pittman. Everything's kind of going to get together here. And the Indianapolis Colts are going to hand the Pittsburgh Steelers their first loss.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Give me the Steelers, folks. Steelers are going to go 4-0. That's right. Steelers are going to go 4-0. They're going to win on the road. And there's nothing that the Colts have shown me besides maybe Taylor to justify that they're a good team. I'm sorry. Sophomore slump is a real thing. It really is. And don't tell me that Richardson's not going through a sophomore slump at this point in the game.
Not as bad as Mayo Levis.
Three touchdowns to 6 interceptions on that team, that high-powered offense. There's something wrong there.
A lot of tips.
Okay. Broncos. The Broncos are the away team here, Johnny. 1-2. They just come off that win against the Bucs. They're taking on the Jets at home. Who do you got in this one?
I hate the Jets. We all know this. If you listen to the show, you know I hate the Jets. But come on. I mean, the Broncos, okay, they looked decent against the Bucs. The Bucs, for whatever reason, the coaches did not prepare them properly. So I'm blaming the coaching staff of the Buccaneers for that loss. So the Jets will be ready. Aaron Rodgers looked really good last week. So let's go ahead and just keep it going there. The Jets are beating the Broncos.
This is a perfect example of how sometimes the schedule can help your team. When you look at the Jets, yes, they had San Francisco week 1. Aaron Rodgers was not 100%, but then they get 2 gimme games. They get the Tennessee Titans. We know how bad they're playing. We get the Patriots. We see how many games are expected to win this year. And what does a good team do? They build on that. And so kudos to the Jets for doing that. Whereas the Broncos, they've had the harder schedule. They've played Seattle, tough team, they're undefeated. Pittsburgh, they're undefeated. And then they finally beat the Bucs. And if you look at the score, they've been closing the gap. Again, that's just a little ramble because at the end of the day, Jets are going to win. I just wanted to point out the fact that in the NFL, how important schedules are, and the Jets are going to capitalize and win this one.
Yeah.
Okay. You got the Bengals. The Bengals are away. They're taking on the Panthers at home, who got their first win, but they're still 0-1 at home. Johnny, who do you got?
I mean, Carolina dominated last week. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence came out of my mouth.
Right.
But Andy Dalton, 300-plus yards, was amazing, and this team looked really good. this is one of the main reasons why we alluded to it previously, to where Bryce Young's not coming back. He's not. Andy Dalton has a team rolling. The team looks decent. This coach never drafted Bryce Young. There's a whole new coaching staff. There's no reason to keep this kid there. They're going to get rid of him. Now, Andy Dalton isn't the guy for the Carolina Panthers, but if they can go ahead and use him to win and use his defense and use his running game, because I told you about Hubbard that they're going to utilize him, and then with they drafted the number one running back in the draft, Stewart, I believe his name is. He's coming back in week 4. So they're going to utilize high-powered running. Andy Dalton's a vet. However, they're still losing this game against Cincinnati.
Say, like, where are you going? You just did what I did the other game.
They're still losing this game against
Okay.
Now, the Bengals are done. You alluded to 0-2 teams, 8% chance actually making the playoffs.
Yeah.
0-3 teams, I don't know the numbers, but they have to be worse. So even though the Bengals, unfortunately, how high I was on them coming into the season, I think they're done just based on they got screwed over against Kansas City. They had a close game here, but they're winning this game against Carolina.
It's funny that you bring that up, Johnny Cinco. So did you know in 25 seasons, Johnny, when a team starts 0-3, 129 teams, how many of them have made the playoffs?
I don't know. I know it's not good.
1.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Bengals won't be that this year. And you know the worst part about this for me is like deja vu. It's like another year wasted for Joe Burrow. Like, I know he had that injury-riddled season, and here's a young guy in the peak of his career, and now they're 0-3. But yeah, no, this game they're going to win. They're going to be 1-3. I'm not happy. I'm not celebrating because it's like, he had a great last week. He threw for 300-something yards, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, wins is what matters in the NFL. And you're going to beat a better Panthers team, but at 1-3, you got this much of a shot at making the playoffs. You're not making the playoffs.
And this is their last, I guess, hurrah for the next few years, so they kind of rebuild, since they're going to go ahead and lose the players. Chase wants to get this contract there. They're going to lose Higgins because this is last year. So I'm like, we'll see.
Is it too early to say the Bengals are the biggest disappointment so far in the NFL?
No, I think that's accurate. I had them going to the Super Bowl and losing in the Super Bowl this year. So yes, that's my biggest.
I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot. But look, last thing I'll say too about disappointments: they lose by 6, they lose by 1, they lose by 5. Just tough, man. Tough. Is Coach is he in hot water? Zach Taylor?
How can you not be when you have a team that talented and you're winless right now? Yes, you're definitely in hot water.
Seat. Yep.
Belichick watch
for another
next
team.
year.
Listen, folks, Commanders, Johnny Cinco, they're the away team here. The Cardinals, they're 1-2 at home. The Commanders are 2-1. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Who's taking this one?
Commanders, where Jaden Daniels went ahead and throws for a rookie record 91% completion percentage. So anybody has over 20 attempts. Amazing game the kid played. And I'm just trying to figure out, is he the real deal or is he another RG3 situation until we have one great year, then you follow up. Hey, I'm not going to take it away from the kid right now. Right now he's doing great.
Are you saying that because he is a quarterback that plays for the
Commanders, and he's a run-first quarterback?
Wow.
So, yes.
You know what that's called, right? That's called steroids.
No, that's called no. That's just for me. I'm looking at this as deja vu. I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, all right, but he threw 91%, something that obviously RG3 didn't do. They're playing Arizona. I have to go ahead and pick Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals and this team to go ahead and beat. Even though this is going to be man, if you have any of these players fantasy-wise, it's going to be a lot of points. Both these quarterbacks are going to be running. They're going to be throwing. Plenty of points from both quarterbacks. Arizona Cardinals win this game.
Yeah, to your point, this is game of the week for me, folks. As far as offenses go, it's going to be an electrifying game. And what it's going to come down to, really, for me, it's going to be Murray giving Daniels kind of like a TED Talk of the mobile quarterback. That's what I see happening this game. So give me the Cardinals to win this game.
Talk.
Yeah, he's gonna ball out. He's gonna show him how it's done. And you know what? Daniels is the real one. So I think it's very easy to say, because they haven't done much, that Daniels is already the front runner for rookie. Quarterback of the year. I know it's early.
Rookie of the year, yes.
Rookie of the year, yeah, of course, absolutely. Johnny Cinco, the Patriots, they're taking on the 49ers at home. The Niners have disappointed everybody, including Lewis, multiple times here. They're 1-2 versus the Patriots that are 1-2. Who do you got?
You ready for the upset, Chris? Are you ready for the upset of the week here? It's not this week. San Francisco's winning this game. New England, they won a game. They looked all right, but they keep games relatively close. But at the end of the day, they're not a very good team.
They regress.
So San Francisco, even though they appeared to be falling off the cliff, the cliff is much higher for the Patriots to fall off of. So, no, San Francisco 49ers are winning this game against the Patriots.
Listen, folks, I know none of us expected for the Niners to lose to the Rams, but it happened. It is what it is. They're 1-2. McCaffrey comes back after this week. With that being said, the Patriots' problem, Johnny, they've regressed. They went from winning to losing in overtime to losing. So I expect them to lose this game. 49ers win, short and sweet. Browns and Raiders, Johnny Cinco, where both teams are 1-2. Raiders are at home. They're 0-1 at home. Who do you got?
Well, the Raiders lost last week, and the coach kind of went off on his players, saying that they were essentially, playing safe. They were just they didn't want to upset their contracts. They were like, oh, you're making business decisions instead of making the proper plays during the game. So I think that Pierce is going to go ahead and get his team ready. The Browns, I have no faith in Watson. The defense is good, but I have faith in this coach, the Raiders coach, to turn things around. Raiders beat the Browns.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one for the simple fact. I said earlier in the year that Minshew's just temporary. Minshew's going to pull a Minshew. He's already 500, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I can't just expect him to turn it around, and especially with that tough Browns defense. Give me the Browns to win. I've also said that the rah-rah coach doesn't work in the NFL. He's going to be 1-3 after this one. Browns win.
I'm not saying he's a rah-rah coach. He's just calling them out, letting them know what's up. And whether it's O'Connell or Minshew, there's still a better option than Watson.
Who's going to end up watching this game other than Lorenzo? The Chiefs, Johnny Cinco. The Chiefs, they take on the Chargers at home. Chargers are 2-1. Chiefs are 3-0, and I don't know why. Who do you got in this one?
Honestly, I want to pick the Chargers on this. Their defense, how they're set up. Harbaugh has it. This team set up very much like he had Michigan, which is a power run team defense. This setup can beat Kansas City, but the NFL won't allow it. So it's not going to happen. Kansas City is going to win this game. It's going to be a lot closer than most people think. But as usual, Kansas City is going to get those key calls that they always get. It's kind of ridiculous how things turn out here. I think I saw a stat to where the Chiefs and Mahomes specifically has more pass interference calls for him in his entire career. He's been 6 years. Has more than Tom Brady had in his entire career. People talk a lot about, Brady gets all these calls, Brady gets all these calls. I'm like, he gets, the interception callbacks. So he'll throw an interception, a flag will be thrown and be waved off. He has more of those, Mahomes, in his entire career, over 6 years, than Brady did in the 100 years he played in the NFL. That's just how things are. That's not a coincidence. The NFL wants success for the Chiefs and Mahomes for whatever reason. Kansas City Chiefs win this game.
One thing that I used to really enjoy when I was young, Johnny, was when these teams won these back-to-back championships. The Denver Broncos, first team that comes to mind when they won back-to-back.
Elway.
And you as a fan, I don't care if you're a fan of your favorite team, you kind of want these things to happen, and you root for these things because if your team's not making it, hey, at least go for the 2, go for the 3 in a row. And I haven't gotten this feeling with the Chiefs, and I haven't because it's a 2-1 game. It's the Chiefs and the refs versus everyone else. Yep. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. So I can't even cheer NFL. I can't even get excited about this. Yeah, Chiefs are going to win the game. Yeah, they're going to be 4-0. But for me, there's nothing else to see here.
They just make it so obvious.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
I'm tired of it. Bills and Ravens. Ravens finally win. They needed to win, Johnny. They are at home. They're taking on the undefeated Bills. The Bills got to lose sometime, right? Who do you got in this one?
Well, while the records aren't what we thought they were going to be for Baltimore, I have this as the game of the week. This is going to be an outstanding game between the Bills and the Ravens. Bills, surprisingly, we had them we wrote them off. Like, okay, they're done. It's not happening. You're going to go ahead and ride off into the sunset. But they've won, and they've won They dominated Jacksonville last week. They're going to go ahead and lose finally to the Ravens. The Ravens are just too good of a team to have to have one win through 4 games. No, so they're going to go ahead and win this particular game against the Buffalo Bills, handing them their first loss.
It's clear that my genius and all that I am here is rubbing off on Johnny because
that's why I'm itching.
If you look at the games, you look at the way that the Ravens lost, you look at how the Bills have won, you see the common denominator is that the Ravens are a lot better than their record suggests and that the Bills are overachieving over a Miami team that, you know what happened with Tua, and the Jaguars who are about to lose their coach. Yep. So 100% you take the Ravens at home to right this ship and become a 500 team when it's all said and done.
Yes, sir.
The Seahawks and the Lions, Johnny Cinco, we're talking about Monday Night Football now. Seahawks are the away team. Lions are 2-1 after that victory. Who do you got?
Seattle Seahawks are a good team. Geno Smith has been playing outstanding. But you know where I stand with the Detroit Lions and what I see. I have them not only going to the Super Bowl, winning it all. So Detroit Lions are going to win this game. Laporta's finally going to have the week that we've all expected him to have, and they're going to win this game.
At the end of the day, folks, the Seahawks are pretenders. I'll say it. I'll rip the Band-Aid for you. It is what it is. They're pretenders. And it's okay. You're 3-0, man. Take it. New head coach there. Enjoy that. But the gravy train stops. The Lions are going to win this one before they go on their losing streak that I told you guys about week 1.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, to tell your friends, do everything you got to do. Like us, podcast, YouTube, whatever. Keep doing that there. Next video coming up, guys. Fantasy Watch. We're going to go over his fantasy picks, waiver wire.
Can't miss it.
Sit them, drop them. Go ahead and watch that next video, please. No last words, Chris?
Don't miss it.
Oh, God. I regret it.
No?
Bye.
All right.
Later, guys.